While Pokemon games are single-player campaigns, they've always been keen on having plenty of multiplayer features to encourage playing with friends. If you happen to own two versions of a game and two consoles, you can technically do everything by yourself, but there's a lot of things that just aren't the same without another person, such as battling or trading. And while modern generation Pokemon games have plenty of options for multiplayer experiences, I'm a lot more interested in what you can do in the older games. There's a certain charm to all the weird little multiplayer features that can be found in generations 3, 4, and 5. And since I had very few friends who were interested in Pokemon when I was a kid, I never really got to experience them for myself. And while it's easy to find people willing to play online in Scarlet and Violet, you're going to have a bit more trouble finding people to play Emerald with. Not just because the games are so old, but they also have to be close enough for you to plug in a link cable. I thought perhaps I'd have some luck finding Pokemon fans when I went to London Go Fest in 2023, but I ended up getting barely any street passes throughout the entire city, and one of the staff at the park event even thought my Pokewalker was a Tamagotchi. When I went to the LA Sinnoh Tour last year, I ended up sharing a house with some pretty hardcore Pokemon fans, but outside of that, it was pretty much the same as London. I only managed to find one other person who I could connect Pokewalkers with, and I had to track them down myself over Twitter. Evidently, Pokemon Go events weren't the right place for me to find other people to connect with, but if there was one place I was confident I could find fans of older generation games, it would be at an official tournament. I've never been to a Pokemon Championship before, and after seeing friends meeting up at Worlds in Hawaii, I was regretting not going to the one in London a couple years ago, or the European International last year. But with the 2025 EUIC once again taking place in London, I decided I wasn't going to miss it twice. The main things I wanted to do was connect Pokewalkers and collect secret bases in Emerald and Omega Ruby. A fun fact about these features is they can also capture your current team to share with the people you connect with, allowing them to battle an NPC version of you in their game. For Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, this is the team currently in your party when you mix records, and your trainer can then be found and battled inside your secret base. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, this is the first 3 Pokemon in your party when you save any changes to your secret base. And for Pokewalkers, this uses the party you have when you deposit your Pokemon into the Pokewalker. And since there are no secret bases, trainers you connect with can then be battled in the trainer house in Viridian City. So I redecorated my secret bases, prepared a cool team in all of my games, and then made my way to the XL Center in London. And it's at this part of the video that I get to say, thank you to the Pokemon Company International for inviting me to attend EUIC for the weekend as a creator. I was given free access to the event for all 3 days, and I intended to make the most of it. After picking up my pass and watching the opening ceremony, I immediately gravitated to an area where several older consoles were set up. They even had a GameCube with Pokemon Red, and an official speedrun challenge to see who could catch a Pikachu the fastest. I gave it my best shot, but I didn't realise that Oak doesn't give you any Pokeballs in Gen 1 when you hand over his parcel, so when I finally found a Pikachu in the forest, I had no balls to catch it with. At that point I was also already below the current record time, so I gracefully conceded to let the next person try. And while I was in the middle of my speedrun attempt, I already managed to start chatting to someone else with a Game Boy. And after watching her destroy people at a Pokemon Stadium minigame contest, I got my first secret base of the event.
I was not expecting to see such a wholesome moment. Isn't it?
Yeah.
I love yours!
Oh, thank you, yeah.
Is it like custom?
Yeah, custom. I realised that some people might not be as excited about secret bases as I was, so I also had something else on hand to sweeten the deal. If you watch my Ribbon Master guide, you might be familiar with my Sableye, who came from the original New York Pokemon Center Gotta Catch 'em All machine, and with the help of Gridlin, the current owner of the distribution hardware, I was able to get my hands on a bunch of extra PCNY Pokemon to give away as thank you to all the people I mixed records with. And because it's another feature that most people never used, I made sure to write some unique thank you mail for them to hold before being traded away. You have to write these letters using the easy chat system, so you're somewhat restricted in what you can say, but you still have a lot of room to get creative with them. But before I could give away any more Pokemon Center Pokemon, I had to make a quick stop at the Pokemon Center myself. There you go. Yeah, it was a bit more than I expected. I'm not making my money back on this video. I might have gone a little bit overboard, and I would be paying for it with sore shoulders for the rest of the weekend, but I'd say it was worth it for the exclusive Quagsire and Wooper merch. Once I was back at the main hall, I ran into another awesome person to touch Pokewalkers and mix records with. Then I sat down to watch a few matches and get some shiny hunting done for the rest of the evening. While I sadly didn't find my main target, I did end up with a Fanfy in Go, and a Wobbuffet in Sleep the next morning. Even if you weren't there to compete in the championship, there were plenty of official side events to take part in, and the next day I had my eye on a few fan-hosted events as well. Okay, so I haven't found this Gen 5 event yet, but I'm thinking maybe I can use Street Pass like a dowsing rod to try and find it. First I met up with Mosquito, a VGC player who's competed as far back as 2009, and he was hosting a Gen 5 fan meetup just outside the hall. I'd brought my copy of White 2 with me just in case there was a chance to do any FunFest challenges, as those require a lot of players to do, but sadly we didn't have enough people. Instead we just hung out and I got thrashed in a few double battles, as well as getting a few more records mixed afterwards. One person even traded me a Japanese bonus disc Celebi in return for their PCNY Pokemon. The next event I was looking forward to was the 8192 Shiny Hunting Challenge, where Shiny Hunters attempt to get 8,192 full odds Shiny encounters in a single hour, and hopefully find a Shiny in the process. Although that wouldn't start until later, so I decided to take some time and try the Activity Zone Scavenger Hunt Challenge. This involved having to track down a Hoot Hoot, a Moltres, a Rayquaza, a Celebi, a Litten, and a Togetic around the event hall, as well as take part in a game of ring toss and a head-to-head round of Who's That Pokemon.
Oh, I think very close. That was beautiful at the same time. Well done. Well done.
40.
That's
right, I got it.
Even, so this determines the winner. Let's see. Was it?
Absol.
Excellent. Well done.
Well played. I still had some time before the next event, so I tried my hand at making an origami Mew, although I think it came out looking a little bit strange. I also wanted to get in on a Gen 3 VGC tournament that I found out about that morning, but I was completely underprepared because I had no experience with Gen 3 competitive, and my team was also massively underleveled because Generation 3 has no level scaling, so competitive players all battle at level 100. Thankfully I was saved from crushing defeat by the 8192 starting, so I quickly packed up and ran over to contribute to the hunt. With one hand, I was doing starter resets for Tepig and Pokemon White. This was my main target for the weekend, but since each reset took over a minute to do, I'd also set up my copy of Fire Red to hunt for Psyduck, as alongside Ogerpon, it seemed to be one of the mascots for this international. With only a modest 151 encounters, I only contributed about 2% towards the goal of 8,192. But fortunately we had a lot of people shiny hunting, and thanks to several people hunting much faster methods and with a lot more consoles, we absolutely smashed the target with an end total of 10,977 encounters, including a shiny. And of course, I managed to snag a couple more secret bases from some of the Generation 3 hunters before I left. For the final day of the event, I was scheduled to battle. Not in the actual finals, obviously. I'd signed up for a VGC double side event. While the extent of my competitive experience is entirely on the ranked online ladder, I was still confident that I could at least hold my own as a somewhat competent player, using my homemade team of Calyrex Ice, Carbink, Okidogi, Pelipper, Slowking, and Archaludon. Unfortunately, since this was the final day of the event, the only remaining matches were the finals, and that meant that all of the competitors who weren't actively about to battle for the title of European Champion were now free to take part in side events. So all three of my matches ended up being against actual competitive players, who all brought their absolute A-game against me. Winning in these official side events meant getting prize tickets, which could be redeemed for prizes such as plushes and booster packs, so no one was going to go easy on me. This was also a best of 3 matchup, so my ranked ladder strategy of running weird anti-meta picks with unexpected movesets wasn't going to be as effective. Thankfully, I was still able to clutch 2 wins against my first opponent, before getting thoroughly destroyed on the rest of my matches. So I claimed my prize tickets, cashed them in on some booster packs, and then got comfortable to watch the VGC final. Thank you once again to the Pokemon Company International for inviting me to attend this event. It was a huge honour and I had an absolutely amazing time getting to meet and bond with so many people that are just as passionate about Pokemon as I am, and I hope I get the chance to go to more events in the future. But after a long and exhausting weekend out and about in the real world, it's time for me to make the journey back into the Hoenn region so I can check out these secret bases. While several of the people I met told me where I could find their bases, I immediately forgot where they were. But I also realised that mixing records means all secret bases in your game are shared, not just your own. So in addition to the people I met in person, I might also have several more secret bases from people they've mixed records with in the past, meaning I'd likely have to check every single secret base spot anyway to find them. I'm also not 100% certain how the record mixing works if two different secret bases are in the same location on both games, so my only worry is that maybe a secret base or two might have been overwritten when I mixed records with someone else. So if anyone I met during the EUIC doesn't have their base appear here, I'm so sorry I didn't get a chance to look at it first. Originally, I planned to show off people's teams as well, but unfortunately I discovered that the NPC copies don't keep nicknames or shinies, which takes a lot of the fun out of it. But thankfully I got to see some of their teams myself when we were trading, and I can still rate them on their base decorating skills. Okay, so before we go looking for the secret bases, there's actually a couple of other things that happen when you mix records that I kinda wanna check out first. Because these will now have, like, information from the people I mixed records with. Oh, okay, secret base visit, yeah, that's basically what we're doing. Secret base of Kira, I remember that name, I'm pretty sure that was the first person I mixed records with. They had a shiny Shadow Shuckle, which was super cool, and they had like a lot of like, I think their favourite Pokemon was Sandshrew, so I'm kind of expecting to maybe see one on their team when I go and find their base. But I guess we're gonna get a sneak peek at what we might find. Camp desk, interesting. And a long poster. Ragged chair, C poster. I can't remember what these things look like. Okay, I think I remember Kira saying her base was somewhere around here, because this is where you can find Sandshrew, and I think... Hang on. Nope, that's a Trapinch. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm pretty sure this is it. Kira's base. Oh, this is very nice. We've got the Snorlax, got a nice table with a bunch of seats around it. Got Duskull, Skitty, a couple of posters. This is a really comfy base, actually. Honestly, I'd give this, like, definitely, like, a strong 9. Maybe even a 10, honestly. I don't want to, like, start, like, at a 10, because then, like, maybe I'll see, like, an even cooler secret base, and I'll have to adjust the system, but, I mean, this is just, like, this is just nice. Easy 9 out of 10. Oh, there we go. Another secret base. That's pretty close, actually. Let's see what we got. Bara. I don't think this is someone I directly mixed records with. I had to double check at all the traded Pokemon I got, and there is one person whose name I don't have, because they traded me a Japanese Celebi. This is a pretty nice treehouse base. Good use of the tent here as like a little entranceway. You got Pikachu, you got Lotad. It's a very nice rug there as well. I'm not actually sure what rug that is. Very nice little treehouse base. I give those like a 6 out of 10. Okay, so this is where my secret base is actually. So if anyone happened to mix records at EUIC, this is where you'll find me. But it also looks like I've now got a neighbor, because there's someone up here. Ash's base, okay. I also don't think that's someone I directly mixed records with. Got a little winding path here. Okay, this is a nice little use of this pathway. Honestly, like, as far as like, I guess you don't have a lot of space to work with on this base, because you've only really got this room up here, and then it's just like a winding corridor. But I suppose I can give this like a 5 out of 10. Here we go, that's one. Oh, there's 2 here. Okay. Reese. That's... Like, I don't think this is someone I met at EUIC. I think this is someone who I, got a second-hand cartridge off of, and I guess I must have traded and mixed records before I, like, wiped it for my own. That's interesting. So, honestly, like, a bit of a shabby base, honestly. I mean, you still got holes in the floor you haven't patched up. There's just, like, this sparkle pad on the floor. So, I mean, I have to be fair and say this is like a 1 out of 10 base, honestly. Okay, let's see what's going on next door, though, because these trees you can put 2 secret bases in, so if I go in by this side, it'll be someone else. Here we go, Sam. I'm pretty sure this is someone that I mixed with at EUIC, so let's see what this music sounds like. Okay, we got a water balloon here, they've got their 50 battle streak in the Battle Tower rewards. Got a nice little surf mat here with a Whale Lord and a Swablu. That's pretty nice. I'd say that this is like a good, like... I'd give this an 8 out of 10. I'm a little disappointed there isn't like a tune here, it's just an ascending scale, but I mean, I'm no good at these kind of music things either, so I can't fault them too bad for that. Okay, this one's pretty out of the way. What do we got here? D-Jock's base. Okay. This one actually has the wooden planks in it, which you can. I probably shouldn't be too hard on the other base for like not having these planks, because you do kind of have to go out of your way to find them. You have to get the it's like the rooftop sale event, which is like only shows up if you check the TVs and like have a working battery. So you kind of do have to put in the work to get these like bigger secret bases. But this person's, you know, clearly worked it out. They got the slide here. That's cool. Nice tree mats. Got all the starters and the Pikachu. And a nice little selection of dolls. I'd say this is another good, like, 8 out of 10 base, honestly. I think that's a bit of a graphical error there. Is that from, like, the lightning? Anyway, let's check it out and see what this is. Sam. This is a... Okay, this has to be, you know, 1 out of 10, I'm afraid. So there's just nothing in here. I think I did see this person's team when I was trading them. Like, I think this is the Shadow Lugia from Colosseum. Yeah, it's got Psycho Boost, so that's definitely the Shadow one. And I'm pretty sure they did have some shinies on their team. I can't remember if the Molostic was shiny, but I think there was definitely at least something there. Okay, I'm certain they had a shiny Latios, so I guess we're gonna find out here. Okay, that's... Ah man, that's really unfortunate. I guess shinies just don't transfer over when it copies teams like this. Okay, now these ones I think are probably the most inconvenient secret bases to get to. Because you need to have Surf, you need to have Waterfall, and you also need to have the Acro Bike to get here. But thankfully, I came prepared. Nope, no secret bases. Alright. Well, that saves me the trouble of having to come back here ever again. Okay, I think we've still got a few people that I met that I haven't found the bases of yet. So this is James. This is a pretty nice little base. You got the very low detail Chikorita, you've got the Ditto on a big tire, little stage here, Rhyhorn on the surf mat. I'm pretty sure you get this for helping out in the museum. I think you have to get at least one like artist Pokemon from like a contest in here, and of course the 50 wins. I'd say this is a pretty solid, like, 8 out of 10 base. Come on. Just let me in. There we go. Whose is this? Sean. This is... Okay, this is also another secondhand game. I think this was from my, like, my original actual secondhand copy of Emerald. Because I remember this guy had, like, a completed save file with, like, a full Pokedex. And I felt a little bit bad about deleting it, even though it was probably hacked, to be honest. But I guess I must have, like, before I wiped it, I must have mixed records with a different game, and then mixed again to put this back here. That's very interesting. Unfortunately, decoration is kind of lacking, so this is a 2. Yeah, okay, maybe 3. I'll bump it up. You got at least you got some art, you got a place to sit, so that's 3, I guess. Now, I think I remember one person telling me their base was near one of the Reggie caves. And that might be around here. Oh, here we go. That's one. Is this... Daisy, ah yes, here we go. This was the second person that I met up with. Okay, and this is just a really nice base as well. This is also just, I mean, I've got nothing else to say about this. This is a really nice base. I mean, you got all the flowers, you got lots of the dolls present, a bit of a Relicanth art. I'd say this is another solid 10 out of 10, honestly. And I know she also had I think it was a Heracross that was shiny from Pokemon Colosseum. It's kind of wild that I ran into, I'm pretty sure at least 3 people across this event that had shiny Shadow Colosseum Pokemon. Alright, here's one more. I know I've got at least 2 people that I met that I haven't found the bases of. So there's always... Okay, this is a Japanese one. Okay. I was going to say there's always the possibility that either one of them might have been overwritten or maybe they didn't have a secret base prepared. So I've still got like, what is it like? I've still got 7 more places to check out, so it might not be over yet, but yeah, this is a 0, empty base, instant disqualification. Last one. Okay, so I think that's everything. Okay, so I think there were a couple of people I guess I didn't get secret bases from, so if they got overwritten somehow while I was mixing with other people, sorry about that. I just didn't have time to check every single secret base slot, like, in between days at EUIC, so... I guess that's just how it is sometimes. And if you didn't have a secret base and you lied to me so I'd trade you a cool Pokemon, shame on you, I guess. But honestly, like, it was so cool meeting, like, everyone who, like, came up and said hi. And, you know, I hope you enjoy your PCNY Pokemon.
That was brilliant, Campbell, for me. Very much enjoyed